Hey, good morning, everybody. 𝗘𝗺𝗽𝗏 here, helping you work on your wellness. Thanks for joining us. And today I have a very special guest, Lana Kirtley from Empowering Health Journey. Hi, Lana. How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's my pleasure. I met Lana some time ago through actually a workout group that we were in, and we kind of kept ourselves doing our workouts regularly, and we got to know each other a little bit. And Lana, through Empowering Health Journey, has podcasts, and we got to talking, and she was kind enough to invite me on to do a podcast. And oh my God, I have to tell you, it was so much fun because I was really nervous about doing the podcast. And you just made it so comfortable and so relaxed. And I love the way that you put it together. So professional too. So that was such a great experience. Thank you for that again.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Empowering Health Journey and, what you offer for people. What are you all about?
Well, thank you, Carla, and I really appreciate it. And we did have fun. So I'm a little bit multifaceted in terms of the podcast side of it. And Empowering Health Journeys podcast is about inspiring individuals and their health journey in terms of I enjoy talking with individuals that have had their own journeys, and I like to share those with my listeners. We've talked about Crohn's. This week was Sjogren's. Obviously, Carla and the Vox Life. A real bucket of options in our world for the simple fact that I come from a small community, 8,000 people. I'm 2 hours from any kind of a city. And the help that is available extends far beyond my little community. And I love my little community, but the help is far beyond that. And that's what I wanted the podcast to do for individuals, was to know there is help available. From the health coaching side of it, then I myself have gone through adrenal fatigue, how I figured out what the crazy amount of hair loss was all about, what the wired and tired was all about, and figuring out what my nutrition was. I figured out what my kryptonites were. I found a chiropractor that helps with the muscle testing, and I've learned way more about that. I've learned a lot more about mindfulness. And so that's what the coaching side of Empowering Health Journeys is about, is taking all of those pieces, knowing that we are not just the food we eat. We are the things we put in. We are the people that we're around and the stress, and that the aspects of stress leads me into the exciting what's coming up in November for Empowering Health Journeys and what I get to share with people. So yeah, that's the coaching side of it. Is there's a bunch of parts, pieces, programs, courses, that are coming up. So I'm excited about those.
Well, it's awesome. And I love what you do as well. And I agree with you, even though we kind of have our own specialized area within the realm of health and wellness, we both understand that there are many components to an individual's health and wellness. And it's important for people to know what the different options are. And, interviews like this or a podcast platform like you use is a great way to extend to people the knowledge that's available to them. So at least they get a taste. And I love what you do too with your podcast is you give people a taste of the information, you connect them with the speaker, they're provided with some form of coaching or counseling, just a consultation, a sample, something of that nature to get them going. And especially now where people cannot get out as much as they used to, this really helps people have access to this information anytime at their fingertips.
Well, and it's building a community of access. It's building connections of specialties or generalizations, depending on the individual, that help provide a piece of the puzzle. I don't like building puzzles on my own. I like building puzzles with people. And we all have, I think of our health and wellness is like one size does not fit all. If you take a mouse and you take an elephant, the same moo is not gonna fit everybody.
You're exactly right.
so I use that visualization of one moo does not fit everybody. Diet, one fitness program, one medicine, one supplement does not do the same thing at the same level for everyone. And I acknowledge and like to honor each individual as an individual within the general context of, you know, I really dislike these kinds of sugars. I really would, you know, caution against these kind of carbs. But in the grand scheme, that you have to honor within, and that's what I really coach, is that honor within. And here's, you know, you and your wisdom, mine and my, you know, somebody that really wants to run a marathon. I'm not the one to coach you on how to train for a marathon. That's not my gig, man.
Absolutely. Would you say too, and this is my feeling on what we're doing, is that it's been so much fun to connect with other people who have the same outlook. And then now when I'm working with clients or even just my audience, I can say, hey, I know somebody that can help you in that area. Because like you said, we've got our kind of target specific, but it doesn't mean that moo is going to fit for you. But I know somebody else who can help you. And I think there's a lot of value in being able to, one, as an individual, be comfortable enough with yourself to say, hey, you know what? I got somebody I can share with you that can help you in that area. And it's been so much fun, really.
Well, and that's, you know, I just got done a preliminary discovery call with a woman who was a high achieving individual and now has written a book regarding traumatic brain injury. And she coaches on that. I can't imagine what that journey's like, but she fully gets it. And I would prefer to take an individual that comes to me and says, I need some help with nutrition or something. And in the discovery calls, I go, wait a minute, you've gone through a traumatic brain injury. This is not my zone of genius. This is someone else's zone of genius. I want to stay connected. I want to watch. I want to check in on you. Come back to me when you feel ready for me, but that zone of genius is some other place. And I want to honor the individual, that them more than myself. And I do. The people I've met through this podcast and that the universe keeps bringing to me is like, oh my God, it's so freaking cool. I just love it.
It is so cool. And I tell people that often. I'll say, you know, when I first started doing this, I don't even know what really got me to first start doing it, but it's amazing the people the universe has sent my direction. And just, yeah, it's been so great and so rewarding for me too. So tell us a little bit about what you have coming up. You have a challenge to chillax. When does that start and what is that about?
Well, the challenge to chillax was based upon the concept of this summer looking at our levels of stress and what stress does to our health. And I am guilty of having gone through adrenal fatigue. And predominantly that was head games, for lack of a nicer phrase. That was not physical stress. That was mental stress piling up. And so this summer, the challenge to chillax started to formulate in my head that I wanted to share with individuals 5 strategies, 5 tools to put in their tool belt, that when they could feel the cortisol, the adrenaline starting to rise up within them, that they go, wait a minute, I've got this in my tool belt. I'm going to pull it out and try it and see if it works. So the challenge to chillax will be approximately 5 minutes of video every day. And then it might take 5 minutes to do the little, to put into action the tool to start to get used to how this tool works. So I'll give you one example might be, you might have to go live for 20 seconds and do a dance. Do a lighthearted dance. I don't care if your lighthearted dance is a formal waltz in the kitchen with your spouse or your child in your arms, or I don't care if it's beatbox, I don't care, but it's maximum or minimum 20 seconds of taking that stress and dropping it down in terms of some laughter. It might be, tell me who your favorite comedian is. And I've got a couple in my back pocket that I'm going to share on that day that it's good, clean, fun comedy in the most interesting way. It might be a little more serious in terms of talking about the value of journaling. So yeah, we're gonna do that for 5 days. It's not heavy duty. It's not a whole bunch of homework, and it's just, I challenge each and every one of us to just learn how to chillax a little bit in those moments of, ah!
Yeah, I love that. And you're so much fun. So I can only imagine how much fun this 5 days is going to be. So tell us, when does it start and how do we join your challenge to chillax?
The easiest way, starts November 2nd and goes through the 6th. So every day the individuals will get an email with the video attached to it. And then the Facebook group will have where they have to post their homework, for lack of a nicer phrase, their interaction with the rest of us. And there'll be daily prizes. And then the week of 6, 7, 8, the week of the 9th, then there will be a follow-up and announce the grand prize winner, yada, yada. And we'll have a little bit of a wrap-up. We'll do some collaborative learning insight, and that will lead to my season of Zen, where we learn a little more. Sorry, this way, that way, whichever way one suits. And I know that these are all just slightly different. And so then the season of Zen is, we're going to spend 5 weeks really diving into how to de-stress, how to manage it, mindfulness. So I look at the season of Zen, and we're going to talk about sleep and getting a better night's sleep, because that is our healing time and we need to make sure it's great. Sorry, I'm going to backstep for a second. The season of Zen in my heart is the fact that we put a lot of stress around this time of year. Mm-hmm. And there's, our social obligation, which are going to be quite different in 2020 as compared to other years. But we put a lot of stress around all the baking that we think we need to do, and all the social events we need to go to, and getting the perfect gifts. And I'm like, hang off. What brings me real joy? What allows me to give real joy? So is giving the perfect gift the real joy, or is the gift of quality time the real joy? So season of Zen is all about making sure we keep our sleep up, watching what we eat during that time. We'll talk a little bit about supplements. I've got somebody I've collaborated with that's going to teach us about yoga nidra. I've got somebody that's going to teach us some stuff about meditation. I've got another one that's going to share some sound baths with us. 5 weeks of ways of self-love, decompressing, more tools for a healthier, more vibrant life.
Perfect. Now, is that going to be once a week during the 5 weeks? And is there a day already that you've selected for that to happen?
What'll happen is Mondays, then there will be a release of another set of per se videos, lessons to go with it. And then throughout the week in the Facebook group, then we'll have interactions. The podcast episodes during that time will be relevant to stress, relevant to the topic of the week as best as we can. So, but not heavy duty, have to be here at this time type of, because that's stressful.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of throughout this week, come and join us. There might be a Q&A at some point in time each week, and I'll try and shake it up a little bit so that somebody that's on the East Coast can participate as compared to somebody on the West Coast that timing might not be so conducive. So we'll play around with that part of it.
Perfect. That sounds great. And I mean, that's the thing these days, access to the information at our convenient time is so necessary. And I love this thought of Season of Zen. And like you said, particularly too, typically we're burdened with, the social gatherings, having to be here, there, and everywhere. But I think equally as much as that can be overwhelming at times, I think it's going to be something that a lot of people miss, and not having the opportunity maybe to be with their families this season. And that can be very, very stressful as well. So, having an option like Season of Zen to participate in, and those tools from our chillaxing that we can put into play, wouldn't you say that, and for me, I found the more aware that I become of what my stressors are, the more quickly I can resolve them, because I know what I need to do to be able to bring myself down and then come to a nice calm space, and then be able to carry on with whatever's going on in my day.
It's huge. And that's part of what Season Zen is going to teach us, is that mindfulness, that awareness of, wait a minute, that just triggered me. I don't want to go down this path. Let me step back, find that tool, and creating those newish kind of habits. Lots of us probably go, oh, I've heard of that, but I've never experienced it. And that's partly what Seasons of Zen is about, is, well, come and experience with it. Just try it out. See if it's, it might be at the bottom of the toolbox, or you might keep it at the top of the toolbox.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It's like everything, it's a practice. So you have to get used to using those tools. And at first it might feel uncomfortable, or you won't be thinking about them. But the more you do, the more they become just your automatic go-tos. So I think it's great that you're going to have that to introduce. Now, Season of Zen and Challenge to Chillax. How do people join this?
Easy. Thank you. The easiest way to do that is to go to Empowering Health Journeys. And at that point in time, there will be journeys. There's an S at the end.
Okay.
That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. So if you go to Empowering Health Journeys, then by mid today, let me check time. Yeah. By noon today, then there will be a link on that site. Thank you, Carla. And there they can go and sign up for the Challenge to Chillax. And at that point in time, we'll get started next Monday. And I'm looking forward to it all. So I hope lots of people come and join us. It's free, it's complimentary. And then as we move through the Challenge to Chillax, there will be more information on the Season of Zen. And there'll also be Season of Zen information on Empowering Health Journeys. But first, Challenge to Chillax is going to happen. So
perfect. And what I'll do too is I'll just wait till afternoon today, and then I will post the link to your Facebook page, also to your website, so that people can go back and take a look at some of the podcasts that you've had before, can get signed up for Challenge to Chillax. And I'm excited about that, because we all need those little tools in our tool belt to help us, because every day is a challenge. And depending on how you handle your challenges will determine how your day turns out, really.
Well, that's exactly how your day turns out, and whether you are helping your health or further degrading your health status level. There's just so many aspects of stress. There's one interesting tidbit that I want to share with your listeners is, if you're trying to lose weight and you're stressed, you are 200% less likely to lose the weight while you're stressed.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I read that stat. I'm like, nah, that can't be. Like, the odds are so against you. Like, why would you buy a lottery ticket if the odds are that much against you? Like, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's so very true. You know, your stress levels just determine so much of your outcome in your life. And even you just saying that, I think sometimes, you know, when you're on holidays and yeah, sometimes you might not be eating what you should be, but when you're relaxed, I feel like I don't really worry about my weight as much as when I'm actually focused on doing it all the time. And yeah, you're right. Just let it go and just vision where you want to be and how you're going to get there and let it happen.
And you know how we, what was the saying, God, when I was a young girl or a young woman, sorry, eating chocolate with friends calories don't count.
Yeah.
then there was the energy of that laughter, of that friendship that far trumps shoving chocolate cake down our face when we're stressed and going, I want chocolate, as compared to laughing and sharing. It's a whole different energy, and that's why it makes such a difference.
Absolutely. And as you say that, interesting enough, I saw this morning that it's actually National Chocolate Day. Did you know that? Yeah, my kind of a day. So I'm going to call up a friend and have a good laugh and have a little bit of chocolate to celebrate.
Good job.
So again, Lana with Empowering Health Journey, she's got her challenge to chillax and her season of Zen. I'm going to post some information in the feed on this. Thank you so much, Lana, for joining us today. It's been so much fun.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. A joy.
Absolutely. I think we'll be doing more work together in the future too. We've had a lot of fun together and we're on the same path, helping people working on their wellness. So thanks again for your time today. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.